students, this is the second part of the navigation of SAP, and I wanted to just double check and make sure you have the right specific settings that all of us will share, okay? And so most of these are default settings for United States, but you'll see what I mean when I get that done. So really what I want to type in is SU3, and that'll go into specific settings. So here is my settings for me, and I go into defaults, and the default should be English, even though maybe you don't want to put, that's not your first language. I prefer it if I need to troubleshoot you guys. Keep the decimal like this, and keep the date like that. But now you kind of know how this works, right? I'd keep 24 hours, although I do like the 12-hour format, but let's do 24 hours just to keep it straight for everybody. And just, you don't have to change anything here, but this is how you would change something in your user specific settings, but let's just keep that the same. So I'm going to exit here. So in the previous video, I showed you that we have those transaction codes, and we can, if we use those transaction codes a lot, I can create a favorite for them, but I also could do other favorites as well. But let's just go ahead and set this stock overview as a favorite. All you need to do is right click on it and choose add to favorites, and then there you go. Another thing that you can add a favorite is a website. So I can add other objects. You can do other things too, right? So these are the other things you can do as a favorite. You can do a knowledge warehouse, generic web. Oh, that's what we're gonna do a web address or file, and some other things. So the most popular one would be for a beginner would be this one. So if I double click on this one, I can say, let's just do this as SAP help, okay? And then the web address for SAP help is help.sap.com. So those are the two things. Let's see, is it help dot? Yeah, sorry, I did backslash. All right, so now I have these favorites. So I could, let's say, I'm just gonna kind of make my tree look nice, or my menu, and if I double click on MMBE, then I'll be in it, right? So if you find yourself always going into sales distribution or something like that, and you're like, oh, you know, this is a pain, so you could just go in and pick what you want to add a favorite, and you right click and do favorite. And then there's other things that you can add, like websites and stuff. So that's helpful for speed as well. Not that everything has to be fast, it's just nice to do it if it's easy. Okay, I'm going to show you help functions that's already kind of built into the system. And let's do another one. Let's go sales and distribution. Let's go into sales, and we'll do an inquiry. Okay, so let's double click that. All right. So if they're asking me what kind of inquiry type, and I don't know what inquiry type is, I can always press function 1, which is on the upper, it's the upper row of a PC keyboard. For Mac, I'm not sure what it is. You'll have to look that up. But F1 on a PC keyboard will show you the definition of what that is, of what an inquiry type is. Now, if you know what an inquiry type is, you just don't know what your options are, you would do an F4, and it would show you, you could do a stock inquiry, a customer price list, so it would actually basically show you the different inquiries that you can do in this create inquiry screen. Let's try one more. Let's do VA01. Oops. I'll do /new VA01. So VA01 is to create a sales document, right? And I want to know what order type I have options. Like, let's back up. I want to know what order type is. So I can just press F1 and it would tell me the sales document type you enter determines the kind of sequence of screen that follows. A classification of distinguish between different types of sales documents. So that's nice. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to close that out. On that order type, I'll click F4 and I'll see the types of orders that are available to me. So if it's a cash sale, I can click BV and then a little green check mark, and that would go there. And then the distribution channel, what if I didn't know what distribution channel was? I click F1. The way in which products or services reach the customer. Typical examples of distribution channels are wholesale, retail, and direct sale. Okay, and then I want to know my options of distribution centers for me for Global Bike. So I press F4 and I can do, these are Germany, right? And then this is United States East is wholesale, or I could do United States West, that's internet, or United States West, wholesale. So I can like double click on one of these and that would get this screen going. So that's how you do your help functions. I use help functions all the time, specifically F4 to see what my options are, especially if I get a little overwhelmed. Okay, so last thing is just to kind of show you what plant stock is. It's kind of just to show you SAP in action here. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a transaction of a stock overview to see how much stock we have between Dallas and Miami, so alphabetically really. So I'm going to go to MMBE, and what I want to look for is I want to look for my deluxe training bike that's black. So I think black is number 1, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but I think it is. Training is black. Yeah. Okay. So what I want to do is I just want to run a stock overview of my black bikes, my training black bikes, and I want to go from Miami or Dallas to Miami. Okay. So on my material, if you're not sure what material you need, you can just press F4. And, well, this gives me a description, so maybe I won't do that. This will be just easier if I do it this way. So I want the deluxe, here you go. So I want the deluxe training, but my number, you guys, is 001, okay? So I want this one. These ones right here is another class or someone else in another university using this, okay? So make sure you use yours because it won't show up in your final document flow. Excuse me, your document flow. I don't even think it'll work. Okay, so let's check this one out. Do F4 and see if there's Dallas. Yeah. So I want to go from Dallas to Miami. Here it is right here. But let's just keep with F4 now. Just easier. There you go. Okay, so show me all my deluxe training black bikes from Dallas to Miami. So anything in between I want to see, right? So I go down here. It's going to be hard to see, but it's a button called execute, and it's right on my pause button in my video, so I got to get it out. So I'm going to click execute here. So the total is 470,000. That's not, so it's a dot, but it is actually a comma in the United States. But check this out. We have Germany in here because Heidelberg starts with an H, and we did things between D and M. Okay, so we have Dallas and Miami, but we don't have San Diego. So we got to check. I don't think there's anything in San Diego. We don't have any bikes in San Diego, so I bet you that would be 0, and we can check that. But all the bikes that we have, Deluxe Training Black, we have 470,000 bikes. That's a lot of bikes, okay? And then 120 are finished in Heidelberg and so forth. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go back and do San Diego, and let's see what that looks like. So instead of plant DL, I'm going to do San Diego, which is probably SD00, but just to make sure. Yep. And I'm going to take this one out. So let's just run San Diego, and I need to execute. And it should say 0. Yep, they don't have anything in San Diego. Okay, it's just Miami and Dallas is where my stock is being held. Okay, there's no stock in San Diego. And that's how that goes. So if you have any questions, let me know. Of course, we'll have to read case 1 pretty slow on sales and distribution to get it done, but it'll be fun. All right, thank you.